I love Ryan Murphy and his commitment to diversity and inclusion, both in front of and behind the camera. If all three of you could sort of talk about that and what that means to you, Patti, if we could start with you.
Well, I don't know what to say. He's a champion. I mean, I'm not in the position of the people that he champions, right? I am a white woman. I am not transgender. I am not, a geek. Well, I was a geek when I was not a geek, but a bohemian when I was in high school. I was an outcast in high school. The fact that he celebrates the fringe in this country or around the world is unbelievable, because I know what I went through as a kid. I know the kind of emotional abuse I went through because I was different. I fought back, though, because I'm an Italian. I fought back, but it still left a mark. I can only say that if there should be more Ryan Murphys. There should be one Ryan Murphy, but there should be more that follow his lead in celebrating everybody's soul.
He surrounds you with the most talented crew and the most talented directors and the most talented actors, and they're, for the most part, people that he's worked with before, or he has a knack for finding people from strange, sort of strange situations. I feel kind of like one of them. I don't really know how he stumbled upon me for The Politician, but to get to meet and work with all of these people who come from very different backgrounds and have very different angles on his material, and to have him as obviously the Lord and Savior of Ryan Murphy Television, have him bring them in and say, I want to hear what you have to say, and I want you to take control. Janet Mock is a great example, terrific director and writer who worked on The Politician and Hollywood. And without her angle, her perspective would not have been the show that it was. And I know that was really important for Jeremy, at least Jeremy and Laura, I think, to have, a Black woman in the writer's room to write this very important part of the show, which is the angle, the perspective of a marginalized Black artist in 1947. So really key that he does it, and amazing that he finds so many talented people to bring together in one room.
I think that he really is so inclusive in every single part of Ryan Murphy Television, behind the camera and in front of the camera. And I think he is doing work that really very few are doing in Hollywood. And he is blazing a trail. And I think that he's making change, and change is coming, and change is here.
One of the things that, I don't know if any of you guys read comic books when you were growing up, but there was a comic book called What If? And it was like, what if Batman had defeated Superman in this big battle? Or, it's like basically alt versions of history. And I felt that Hollywood was a what if comic, except instead of about superheroes, it was what if Hollywood had embraced diversity and sexuality in the 1940s. And I wanted to know if any of you guys could sort of talk about that. I don't know who maybe has a strong feeling.
I think it's one of the greatest uses of storytelling, whether it's comic books or cinema, is to take worlds or iconic characters or iconic people, and to do historical fiction with it. Ryan is calling it faction, fact plus fiction. But it's basically historical fiction. You take a thing that's true or iconic, like Batman or Superman, and you say, what if the thing that we know happened? What if Batman's parents didn't get killed? To follow that counterfactual, which you don't get to do in real life. You have one timeline in real life, and so you never get to know what would have happened really. All you can do is imagine. But when you have really talented, slightly crazy people like Ryan imagining that, you get to see this amazing, alternate reality. And, at very least, it's fun and exciting, and you feel like you've been taken on a journey. And in addition, you maybe learn a little bit about what might actually could have happened, and maybe it informs your current reality.
Patti, I loved your work. I loved your character, and I loved the way she ran the studio, and I thought she had just such a great arc. How much did you know going in about the way everything was going to go out? This also applies to everyone, like the arc of everything, and how much was it script by script?
Not script by script, but the arc of the character, that was the pitch that Ryan pitched to me, that arc. But the sad thing for me about doing film is that we don't get everything at once. So as you know, and as actors, it would be really great to track our character, so that because you know, you shoot out of order, and I'm going, oh, if only I'd done that, because I didn't know I was doing this. You know what I mean? So we didn't have each script in our hands. We didn't have, you know, like when we were shooting one, we didn't have two. When we were shooting two, we didn't have three.
Ryan says he likes to keep actors in the dark to increase their excitement. Right. When they get the script, you're finding it out just like the audience is going to find it out. Which I agree is a mixed bag. As an actor, you would like to know, you know, where you're going to end up, so you can make sure you're playing the right character. Yeah. Yeah,
exactly. Dylan, what do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I think the show really evolved as we shot it, you know.
Yeah.
I think maybe when we started it was one show, and then it really evolved into something else, which I think is better. And that's the great thing about working with Ryan. He sort of sees the show, and then he kind of reimagines it as we go. And he writes for characters as he sees them. I think that he saw Patti and saw her brilliance, and he started writing for her. So I think it's, and that's fantastic and dangerous. And I think that's the Ryan Murphy world, you know, where it's not set in stone. You know, there's a lot of moving parts, and that's the most exciting thing I think about working with him.
I know I'm about out of time. Just real quick, David, I was a big fan of The Politician. Dylan, I know you're in season 1, but David, you're in season 2 for sure. What can you tease people about it?
They didn't give me any scripts. They just had me show up, and I wore a blindfold the whole time. I don't know. I can't tease anything. I'm dead. Is that a good tease? I'm still dead.
I'm still dead.
Right.
It'll be fun. It's very different. You've got a lot of the new characters that were introduced at the end of season 1. Judith Light and how am I blanking on her name?
Bette Midler.
Bette Midler, thank you. And she's just such a force. Moment. She just knocks her own name right out of my brain. So you've got a lot more of them. You've got the same wonderful people. I miss them so much. The same wonderful kids who are sort of grown up in this season. I'll be excited to find out, as everybody else will be.
On that
When does
note,
it come out?
The summer, I think, if everything's still on schedule, but I don't know.
Ryan told me this summer. I spoke to him for Hollywood. On that note, congrats on the series. You guys have a fantastic day. Thank you for giving me your time.